or you can use the pointer, whatever. Okay, I'm going to call to order the special council meeting. And having said that, I'm going to recess it until after Public Works and Transportation Committee and the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Committee, both open and closed, as well as the special closed council. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brody. I call to order the Public Works Transportation Committee meeting for December 18th. Do I have a motion on the minutes of the November 20th meeting? And seconded, thank you very much. Are there any agenda or deletions to, additions or, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, then we have a delegation, Mr. Nathan Danovich, who's going to do a 5-minute presentation to the committee. Please have a seat.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Nathan Davidovich, and I'm speaking about the Capstan station and the Canada Line and the sad history of public transit in Richmond and Metro Vancouver. Capstan Station was originally supposed to be funded mostly by Richmond, but now with almost 2-year delay, the cost has increased and TransLink is paying close to 50% of the cost. Richmond's share stayed the same as what was approved 6 years ago. The task is now to plan the extension to the new station here at the City Hall and how much Richmond's share will be. The present City Council should recommend a course of action to the new City Council that will be elected in 2026. The audit of the Canada Line is divided into two parts. First, talk about the general deficiencies. While the train technology of the Canada Line is superior to the SkyTrain technology, many problems with the Canada Line have not been fixed over the last 15 years. The main ask for the BC government is to pay off the P3 private partnership contract before it expires in 2041 and bring Canada Line into public operation like the bus and SkyTrain operation. Today, on the front page of the Vancouver Sun, there is the article about the Capstan station. The second part discussed the present 16 stations and how they do not conform to the BC 2021 Accessibility Act, as well as the lack of proper bus service to serve all these stations. Proper accessibility will require more elevators and escalators. Every platform should have 2 elevators instead of 1. This is done in new stations in Ontario. It is very simple. The probability of 2 elevators breaking down is very remote, but with only 1 elevator, it happens and riders get stuck. Bus service should also be upgraded at a very little cost, especially having the same 20 hours of service like the Canada Line service hour. Express bus routes are needed, especially from South Richmond and Steveston, and the return of the 480 bus to and from UBC, as well as bus-only lane and transit priority traffic signals. Yesterday, when I was at the bank, the teller that I don't even know, but she saw my name and she said, "Oh, I saw you, I read your articles on social media. Could you help my daughter get a better bus service from Steveston to number 5 Road?" And I sort of tried to explain to her, you know, we can get better bus service by supporting the BC Federation of Labor Connecting BC 10-year plan, which is superior to TransLink Access for Everyone 10-year plan and Transport 2050. We need to have a proper, ambitious plan, which TransLink does not have. Municipal Transit Solutions from Ontario spoke previously to you about providing rapid transit service from Steveston to Richmond Center, which is not being pursued. We need the federal government to spend way more money on transit, including matching per capita what the US federal government is funding. In the US, the federal support both operating and capital funding, while in Canada, we only get capital funding. Surrey is doing its own transit planning now, and maybe Richmond should hire an independent consultant and follow what Surrey is doing, because everybody's frustrated the lack of action from TransLink. Thank you very much.
You're going to have to wrap it up. We're almost
Yeah,
out of time.
thank you. Yeah, that's my brief. Yeah,
Sorry.
thank you very much.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Are there any questions from committee? Okay, Councillor Au.
This is a question, I think, to the delegate, but I think also to staff. On PWT 14, in the lower part of the page, crowding, it is mentioned that some trains being ordered in 2019-20, and they have been sitting idle right now. They are not being used at all.
Yeah, they're
So
sitting in the
that's what I
garage
want-
unused.
Yeah,
those
that's what I want to
trains.
find out more. You know, do staff know anything about those extra trains not being used? Because then crowding is a problem.
You ask, the staff?
Through the chair to Councillor Au, no, absolutely. These trains were purchased just prior to the pandemic, and they have been sitting idle since then. We've been asking them to put them into service, and the plan is to put them into service in Q1 of 2025.
Okay, I think Council, anything else?
Maybe more information from TransLink regarding the 2025 Q1.
So you're asking for information from TransLink
Yeah.
regarding these trains coming online in Q1?
Yes.
Okay,
Can we do
I'm
that?
sure staff can work on that. They're nodding, that's good, okay. And Councillor Wolf.
Thank you. Thank you, Nathan, for being here and doing the full audit of all the stations. It was enjoyable to read and hearing the diversity and the lack of features at some of them. You mentioned the potential for converting emergency exits to a secondary entrance. Would you also then expect additional emergency exits to be built, or you would just then assume that all of the entrances would also function as the emergency exits?
Yeah, because Transport Canada requires 2 exits, and so there is the present one entrance that acts as an entrance and exit, and then there is an emergency exit, but many of those emergency exits could be converted to a regular entrance at very little cost, because the main part of is already built, basically, but, it just, many stations in or even on the original SkyTrain line from Vancouver to New West have 2 or 3 or even 4 entrances. And because of the budget cuts for the Canada line, they only build one entrance mostly.
Did you have a follow-up question, Councillor Wolf?
Yes, thank you, through the chair. A few more, and I assume that those budget cuts also resulted in there being a lack of public washrooms, and many of the other features that you identified were not present. When it comes to seating, you highlighted the photo as well of Templeton Station where there's only 2 seats. Are you aware, was there more seats that have been removed?
It's very easy to add another bench at the stations. I mean, they're not expensive, but they just, for whatever reason, they provided minimum seating. I don't know why,
Thanks. Just 2 more questions. On our page 22, 23, that's where you kind of did the audit of the Richmond specific ones, and could you just further explain what you mean by milk run bus routes? Could you just elaborate when you use that phrase, milk run bus routes? Use that multiple times in here. Milk run, like milk run?
Well, the bus service should be improved at many of these stations. I don't know.
I just wanted, in case you had other
not sure
elaboration of what you meant when you wrote in need an express bus to Steveston in addition to all the Milk Run bus routes.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
want your
the milk,
clarification.
well, of course, because Richmond doesn't have express buses like other cities. And the Municipal Transit Solution Company from Ontario that was presented a brief, they have a plan to connect Steveston to Richmond Center with an express hybrid bus that would run both on the street and on the, and partly on Railway Avenue, putting the railway, the railway tracks back on Railway Avenue, like it was during, when the interurban ran. Yeah.
Great,
Just to
great.
wrap
And
up.
and my very last one, you mentioned at YVR Airport Station, and sometimes the airport staff come, and maybe we can bring this up next time, but you say that there's no bike parkade nor lockers at the YVR Airport Station. So do you know right now, what do cyclists do? Where do they put their bikes then if there's no infrastructure for that?
You know, the airport had plans to build a second station at, just before the present station because of the expansion of the terminal. But those were, when COVID started, everything was frozen. They stopped construction and, you know, so I don't know what, you know, what the future holds, but hopefully they'll build a second station at the airport. You
Okay,
know.
we
Okay,
have,
great. Again, thanks. I appreciate
thank you.
your
We have a
insight.
question by Mayor Brody.
Madam Chair, my suggestion is we simply direct staff to give the brief to TransLink, just forward it on for,
Thank you, and
Their
and
information.
I would agree. It's a 16-page brief. You've done a wonderful job. Obviously, Richmond City Council can't make the kind of decisions that you're asking for, so we'll get staff to follow up with this and forward it to TransLink for action.
Okay.
Thank you very much for bringing all
Yeah,
this to our attention. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay, item number 2 on the agenda is the Transportation Demand Management TDM Reserve Fund Establishment. And we have staff here to tell us more about that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have anything further to add to the report, but staff are available to answer questions.
Okay, I think we have a question from Councillor Liu.
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you for this report. So if I understand this correctly, we already charge developers to do certain things, like whether it's add a bike lane or whatever, and in some cases, because a development is, say, between two other developments, they're not ready to put in the bike lane right away or whatever the difference is. So this allows that money to be put in a reserve fund instead of them building it right away?
Through the chair to Councillor Liu, what we're proposing is not to add any additional requirements for TDMs where we already, through a development process, determine specific TDMs that are required. This recommendation helps to establish that reserve fund bylaws so that any contributions through a rezoning such as what you've described are collected. They can be deposited into that reserve fund so that the city can use it for future active transportation infrastructure.
Okay, so we're not increasing what we're charging developers. This isn't an increase. This is what they're currently being required to do, but it can be done in terms of a cash in lieu versus built out immediately.
Through the chair to Councillor Liu, it adds another option for developers and the city through the Transportation Demand Management Plan.
Okay, and it's at the developer's option, which one they determine to do?
Through the chair to Councillor Liu, yes, that's what the province requires.
Okay, thank you. And have we heard from have we asked any of the developers what they, comments or concerns about this yet?
Through the chair, we presented an outline of this at UDI last month. What we've heard from developers is more so about the challenges with sometimes delivering transit passes, which is why that is recommended as part of this rollout, because it'll offer those developers a choice. So we're hoping that brings in flexibility to the provision of TDMs for developers, and we'll continue to consult about this going forward.
Thank you.
Okay, and so this is a really starting the funds so that we can move forward. I understand on page 28 that staff are looking into expanding to small-scale developments. Can you speak a little bit to that, where the next step will take us?
Through the chair to, or Madam Chair rather, absolutely. This is something that we'll continue to monitor and see what the interest is and whether there's additional opportunities for the city to expand our existing transportation demand management program. And one of the thoughts that we have is perhaps through the small-scale multi-unit developments that as parking is very limited on those sites, that the requirements for TDMs would help support future residents to have access to alternate modes of transportation.
That's good, sounds very progressive. So there's a motion to a provision of the Transportation Demand Management Reserve Fund to be introduced and given first reading. And all those in favor? Okay, those opposed? Good, that is adopted. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a TransLink 2025 cost share funding applications, transportation projects. That's a very interesting report for about $13.7 million worth of projects. Do you have anything you want to add to your report?
Madam Chair, I don't have anything further to add. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I think Councillor Wolf has got a question.
Yes, thank you, through the chair to staff. Just a comment and a question. I appreciate on our page 36, one of the walking infrastructure to transit program projects. That's project number 8. That's the Westminster Highway and Highway 91 bus stop access. It's one of those like odd pathways that people use, and it takes you right to an elbow of a road across from the Hamilton Fire Hall, and there's no crosswalk there. And it's a blind corner. It's not that well lit up on that side of the road. And to see how frequent people use it when they get off the bus to get towards McLean Park, it's great that's being addressed in this shared funding project. And I do have a question, though, on project number 3, which is on our page 35. It's the one at Cambie Road and number 4 Road intersection and the upgrade there. I know many people, family and friends, who've gotten into accidents in that intersection and blown through fences and stuff. My concern is at the northeast corner of that intersection is some of the most significant trees. They're labeled as significant trees. They're some of the oldest trees. They're giant sequoias. And one of them is, I know it's very close to the intersection. The pedestrian infrastructure that goes around it is not like the typical sidewalk because it's bulged up on the trunk of the tree. So I'm wondering if part of this intersection upgrade is going to be to create a better sidewalk there, but also to move the whole intersection to the opposite corner a little bit where there is much more wiggle room. And so I don't know if you could comment on the ability to not negatively impact the trees on that corner.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, absolutely, as part of the design that's underway for that intersection, the objective is to improve the pedestrian realm where possible in consideration of tree preservation.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I've seen as the city's done at the 5 Road and Cambie intersection to almost magically put in lanes that people didn't think were possible. I think there's lots of possibility to make this intersection great, safer, and retain some of the existing features. So I look forward to seeing that project through. Thanks.
Okay, so the motion is to Public Works to be authorized to execute successful funding agreements. So all those, it's seconded, all those in favor? All those opposed? Good, perfect. Number 4 on the agenda is the award of contract for 5 electric ice resurfacers. We have your report here requesting $1,021,000 for these 4 electric vehicles. Do you have anything to add to your report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we'd like to add a few words.
Okay.
After following a comprehensive request for quotation process, which included detailed specification comparisons, multiple demonstrations of the various machines, and gathering references from other arenas across Canada that use the ENGO ice resurfacer, staff are recommending ENGO as the successful supplier. The submission by ENGO was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder that fully met the city's technical and operational specifications, in addition to offering local parts and servicing support for operational efficiency and maintenance convenience. The ENGO ice resurfacer includes several machine enhancements that other models did not offer. The ENGO ice resurfacer provides the best overall value for the city while meeting Arena Services' unique operational requirements for our many arena-based public programs, minor sports organizations, and adult ice users. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Councillor Wolf, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, through the chair to staff. I was watching our Olympia Ice Bears in action last night up at Richmond Ice Center. My question is, where will they go when we get the new units, where will our old units go?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, all of our units, when they're retired, go to auction, and proceeds go back to the fleet reserve for future purposes.
Terrific, thank you.
Well, if there's no other questions, I just want to say, I'm really happy that they're electric, because I remember in the old days, they weren't, and if you were sitting in those arenas, you sure knew it. I was just wondering if anybody had a chance to check into the warranty of these electric vehicles, which is always a concern for any electric vehicle.
Madam Chair, yes, thank you. The warranty on the Engel machines is 2 years parts and labor for the entire machine and 5 years parts and labor for the batteries.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good. Okay, no, okay, all those in favor? Those opposed? That's passed. I understand there are no manager reports, so I'd like to call for adjournment. And all those in favor? Great. I will hand the mic over to Mayor Brody. Oh, Councillor Al, okay. Do you want to sit here? Musical chairs.
Okay, I would like to call the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Service Committee meeting to order. May I have the motion for the minutes? Move seconded. Call the questions in favor, opposed, motion carried. The next meeting is going to be January 28th, 4 o'clock at this same place. Is there any addition or deletion from the agenda? Seeing none, let's go with item number 1, which is the only item for the day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing to add to my report and here to answer any questions.
Any questions? Move, seconded. Those in favor? Contrary? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Is there any manager's report?
Thank you, and through the chair. With the winter break coming soon, we wanted to provide you with a brief update on some of the opportunities that will be available for the community. Over the break, a variety of programs and activities are being offered, including social gatherings, arts workshops, sports drop-ins, and winter-themed day camps and out trips. The Winter Wonderland Holiday Skate that kicked off earlier this week at Minoru Arenas will continue through January 7th. New this year, a Christmas Day skate is being offered from 12 to 3 p.m. Other facilities that are open on Christmas Day include the South Arm and City Center community centers from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the Minoru Center for Active Living, including the Senior Center, the swimming pool, and the fitness center from 12 to 4 p.m. Holiday facility schedules and program opportunities are being promoted to the community through our usual channels, including online, at our facilities, through social media, and we're looking forward to seeing our facilities alive with activity this holiday break. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions.
So this information is posted on the city's website?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Yes. Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, yeah, so meeting adjourned. So let's go to the closed meeting. Okay, motion. Okay, those in favor?